have a Kewpie doll, Lucy?
Yeah. Oh, with
That
the
is so
tramp
cool.
stamp.
With the tramp stamp. It's perfect. I'm Margie Kreiner, and I am an artist. I own a company called Itty Bitty Mini Mart. We make miniatures for any reason you could possibly think of, from dollhouses to mausoleums to documentary modeling to stop motion animation props. You dream of anything and we will build it for you. Well, I've been doing miniature narrative scenes inside abstract sculpture for about 15 years. And I do gallery work and museum work and installation work with that. And I would hear people at exhibitions say things like, I wish I could afford your art. I wish I could make art like this. I wish I could buy that little couch in there. And I thought, why don't I bridge the gap between helping people make their own art and like separating it from my fine art, but having it still connect to my fine art. So 3.5 years ago, I dreamed up the Itty Bitty Mini Mart. When I was about 6 years old, I was in the garage with my dad. He was trying to fix the lawnmower and I was handing him tools. And he took the entire thing apart. And I said, what's wrong with the lawnmower? And he said, I think it's the way the oil is feeding the motor. And I said, well, if you know what's wrong with it, why are you taking the whole thing apart? And he said, well, you can't, to fully understand something, you have to look at it from all sides. And that idea blew my mind as a little kid because it helped me understand the kid down the street. It helped me understand homework. It helped me figure out problems, and it fed this whole like, oh, it was like what life is about, like bird's eye view, take it all in. Fast forward into my art, I started doing narrative work and I wanted to put it in a nice box, and I was like, why don't I build a box around it? I'm a woodworker. What's wrong with me? So I started enclosing the work and then realized after like a year of doing it that I was building work that forced you to look at it from all perspectives. It was like, oh my God, I'm teaching the same lesson my dad taught me that changed my life. I'm like revisiting it every time. And when I'm building the interior narrative, I'm trying to create something that everyone can relate to, whether it's a swimming pool scene or traffic or something banal, just so everybody can insert their own story. So I like to leave room. I like to have it be something that we can we've all experienced in our life, but have had our own unique experiences within it. I built a VCR, and it was a model of the VCR my dad rented from the library in 1983. But it's not just that. It was when you could watch your favorite movies at home, and it was movie night at my family's house, and it was that it sort of taps into not just an object, it taps into a memory of the time in your life that I don't start thinking about until I build it.
There's something magical that happens in everybody's brain, or like except a few people. When you hold something that's really small, your brain kind of explodes a little bit, like the sense of perception, or like the sense of self kind of pulls away a little bit and opens up to something different, like oh, I used to have this guitar, or like I used to play with that thing, and then just your mind kind of like does this weird dance on itself. It kind of like spins on its axis or something, and so you see the world a little differently. So there's also something about caring, like I think that if you are into miniature, you are an extremely caring person. I mean, now I'm throwing myself some roses, but it just feels like you have to have an attention to detail, and you have to be tuned in to certain things, like paying attention to detail, like especially in this world where everything goes super fast. You need to do a million things in your life, in your day, and in this hour. There's something about zoning out and really process. I mean, there's some stuff you can process and put it in the background, but then you're also making this, and so you have these lost places that you're like, I really want to hold this in my memory for as long as I can, because I don't know what tomorrow is going to be made of, and I just want to keep it close to my heart. So yeah, I feel like it can be painful for some people, but it could also be so cathartic, just like recreating your house as the way you remembered it before you left, or something, or something that's not here anymore. Like, I remember a friend, I learned that my house was going to be destroyed, like the house I spent a lot of time with. My friends, I mean, we were all living in this like roommate situation, like this tiny community, and we were drawing portraits of the house. And she said, it's not the place you're going to be nostalgic about, it's just the way you were at that moment. And so I know there's a time and there's a connection between you and the place you used to be, just because it's a blueprint of you at that point.
And then this is 1985, the mall. So the reason is we wanted to bring the mall culture back, and then also in the 80s, I was a teenager and I'd get dropped off at the mall with my friends, and it was like I'm starting to like figure out what music I'm drawn to. I'm starting to figure out like my relationships with my friends, and I'm finding it's like a key to a door that you didn't know was locked up inside you. I know it surprises me, like the more I dig into an object, like why am I drawn to making this object? And I don't know until I build it, and then I'm like, oh, it's my grandparents' radio. It reminds me of this time where my grandpa would listen to the baseball games in the kitchen, and my grandma would be yelling at him and he wasn't paying any attention to her because he had his ear against the radio. And yeah, it sort of takes me back into a place, but from a new perspective. I think that something can look well made and be well crafted, but still have a playfulness to it. That we don't have to divide fine art from funny, or fine art from levity. I think that's missing a lot in the fine art scene. And I think when they come together, it has a universal landing. It's sort of like the idea of like, don't forget to be playful throughout your whole life.